The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and the guests, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any affiliated individuals, organizations, or sponsors. The content is provided for entertainment and informational purposes only, and should not be taken as professional advice. While we strive for accuracy, we make no representation or warranties about the completeness, reliability, or accuracy of the information discussed. Listeners are encouraged to verify facts and form their own opinions. The host and producers are not responsible for any errors, omissions, or outcomes related to the use of this content. By listening, you agree that the host and the production team will not be held liable for any actions you take or decisions you make based on the information presented. Thank you.
You're listening to DozhaToldya Radio.
What's up, man? Welcome back. This is the DozhaToldya Podcast 169. Yes, another segment. Yes, when we still on 169. We got to talk about more politics. It's been a while. Second week of 2026. Was that the first week or the second week? I don't know. I'm already getting lost in the days, but they are flying by. And when we left off, we were talking about Trump's obsession with Somalians, Somali Americans, and Ilhan Omar and Minnesota, and why everything seems to be happening in Minnesota and why he's been targeting Somali Americans. And while we can continue to go down that rabbit hole for yet plenty more shows, there's been more developments that have been happening in Minnesota. An American citizen was killed. Her name was Renee Good. We're going to talk about, she was killed by ICE and an ICE enforcement officer. We're going to talk about more of that in the later developments of this show, but we have to kind of unwrap what's all going on in our country. But first and foremost, I need y'all to like and subscribe the page. Follow us on all platforms, DozhaToldya, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. If you ever miss any part of the show or you want to catch up on some of our clips, go to the YouTube channel. We got all kind of content on there. And if you would like to give a contribution, man, the Cash App is wide open, man. Give a dollar, give $5, give $1, yeah. But yeah, man, or you could just like and share our pages, repost on one of our social media pages. All support is welcome, and we really do appreciate everybody who's been rocking with us for so many years now over here at the DozhaToldya Podcast. But yeah, I just wanted to start the show off with a recap. I found a quick clip that shows the recap of the wild week that we've had. And believe it or not, all of this crazy stuff have happened in 1 week. And then it's really like crazy stuff happened in 1 week, and then even more crazy stuff happened during the weekend. So let's get into it, man. This is the Politics 2026 DozhaToldya Podcast.
The most insane week yet in Lil Donnie's completely fucked up America. It's nearly impossible to cover all of this in one place, so we're going to try to do it as fast as possible. We invaded Venezuela, stole their president, and flew him to New York and put him in a cell next to the other Mario brother and Tekashi 6ix9ine. Stephen Miller all but admitted we're going to invade Greenland and said that laws don't matter. Donnie revealed he's been sucking down shit tons of aspirin for over a decade and will likely die from it. Speaking of that, he went on TV multiple times, slurring his words with a pronounced droop in his face. You can do the math there. The DOJ ignored a deadline to explain their redactions to the Epstein files and simply won't respond to any questions about it. Donnie again called for the public execution of a sitting senator, veteran, and astronaut. Because Donnie is afraid of people who are objectively better than him, Pete Hegseth instead censured Senator Kelly. And last month, he apparently tried to intimidate Kelly to his face. And Kelly reportedly backed him down because Hegseth is ultimately a coward and a poser. CBS Nightly News was infected with Trump's goo, and the blatant propaganda was even too much for MAGA, who rejected it. Trump was sad that the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize didn't refuse to accept it and give it to him, so he wouldn't let Maria Machado, the actual elected leader of Venezuela, lead Venezuela. Instead, he put known racist sack of something that looks almost like flesh, filled with Nickelodeon gack, Stephen Miller in charge of a country of people who he hates. Donnie went on multiple late-night dementia-filled social media posting sprees, posting almost 1,000 times over the length of a fucking week. Former FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, who made his name promising to bring down abusers, got into a Twitter fight with former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who made his name being an abuser. It was kind of funny, kind of totally pathetic. A fucking preschool teacher was arrested live on TV for the crime of talking about Trump. Donald Trump floated the idea of canceling the midterms because Republicans will lose. Donnie admitted to taking yet another cognitive test. Makes you wonder why his doctors keep testing him. He had pink hair for some reason. He screamed at the Supreme Court for not doing what he wants. He claimed that he tried to stop 9/11, but no one listened to him. He put up a website where he claims it was the Democrats who caused January 6th. And most of all, J.D. Vance has gone very, very quiet. And that is less than 1 week in Donnie's completely fucked up America.
You're listening to DozhaToldya Radio.
Nick Mueller 703 on TikTok. You are killing it, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that update. I couldn't say it no better. And it was a lot to take in. All that happened in 1 week. Us invading Venezuela, threatening to invade places like Greenland. We're even threatening our neighboring countries, Canada and Mexico, and also threatening Colombia. Now, the threats coming from the president have to be taken seriously now that we've gotten this far, especially with Venezuela. With what's going on. He's now calling himself the sitting president, current active president of Venezuela. He said we're just going to run another country. This has started all on some Make America Great Again stuff. And now, everything from the Senator Kelly, it's just been a wild week. So I still have, I put together a couple of different intro posts, and believe it or not, that happened, and then the stuff in Minnesota happened after that. So I don't know what to address first, but I did want to share these videos first and foremost. So again, my sentiments and my heart it changed this week when I watched a video of Renee Good passing, or getting murdered, actually. I can't even say it try to sugarcoat it. And then I had so many questions like, why Minnesota? Like what? Why are we going through this again? I had so many recollections, and I'd say virtual, not daydreams, but I guess day nightmares of when Trump was in office, the first administration about 7 years ago, and how it felt, how heavy it felt then. And for what happened in Minnesota, I think that America is going to be changed forever. This is a great clip by Long Live Judah. Shout out to him. It's called "There Won't Be an Announcement." Check it out. It's long, but I think that it's a really, really great clip. So check it out.
If you tell me you've seen this before, you're fucking lying. You have never seen a headline from any news station ever that says, "Hello, your war has started." You have never gotten the notification on your phone from Siri, from Alexa, from Bixby, from fucking anything that said, "Hello, today is the first start of your civil war. Begin. The first attack, the next strike will be on this date at this time." It was never announced. Why would it be announced this time? Before any facts came out about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, they announced the war on the left. No evidence. To this day, fake 2020 election. No evidence. Plenty of evidence about the war crimes on the narco boats. Alleged narco boats. They deny that. Plenty of evidence about Trump's involvement in the Epstein files. Fully redacted Epstein files. Nobody announces a government takeover. Nobody, there is no... Aaron isn't going to get on here and say, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump just posted on Truth Social, the civil war has begun. That doesn't happen. A major indicator of the state of the country right now is a U.S. citizen being shot in the fucking face for no reason. A major indicator is they ask Kristi Noem how many U.S. veterans have been deported. She says 0. They say, okay, talk to this man on Zoom. A U.S. veteran who was deported. J.D. Vance said full immunity for the ICE officer who shot Renee Good in the face, a mother.
I'm gonna stop it right there, and I'm gonna come back because this man is cooked. He cooked so hard with this clip because I think it's time. I think it was a wake up call. But how do we get here? I mean, I know that Trump was elected, and then he said the election was stolen, and we had 4 years of Biden, and everybody said that it was just so terrible. Biden was just doing just a terrible job. And the new political swing was propaganda. Social media was a way to sway the opinions of millions of Americans. And then you have these people that run the social media. I mean, I know I can't really get a grip of the fact that I have an obsession, and I'm a content creator, so I have an obsession with making great content and posting it on my socials from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, etc. So I'm on these platforms collecting information and spreading information. And within the last couple of weeks, it dawned on me that this information that I'm now engulfed in, everybody's algorithm's different, right? My algorithm shows me a lot of toxic stuff. It shows me a lot of political, liberal leaning things. I think I still see some MAGA stuff on my timeline. But right now, the state of America is dire, and I see a lot of people losing their shit on my algorithm, as they should. And then I see, or I have to interact with MAGA supporters and just MAGA cult members. At this point, there is a cult. And I mean, I'm disappointed to say I have dear friends that I go back and forth with on MAGA talking points. And at this point, I have to just give up. I kind of been giving up as far as the debate, but now I have to kind of give up on even just having a conversation, because this is not normal. When I seen the video and we were debating the Minnesota video, I just had to make the decision that I probably won't be talking politics with MAGA men, especially those of whom are black. Some of you still can be very rational. Some of you still can be informative in different ways. Hell, again, I look at Nick Fuentes, and even he been keeping it real. Telling you, it's crazy when you find yourself agreeing with a person who just a known white supremacist over black MAGA members. Now I seen this clip. I guess I'm gonna have to get into this because this is kind of how I felt, man. Now it's been a heavy ass week, and I know I'm kind of just skipping around, beating around the bush, but I just wanted to share how I felt this week in a couple of clips that expressed the way I felt. This one was powerful.
It's time that you accept it. You may not want to believe this, but it's time that you accept it. If you have any family or friends who are MAGA, then they are evil. They are either evil, or the best thing that could possibly be said for them is that they are so breathtakingly stupid that they don't fully understand what it is they're supporting. And that level of stupidity at this point in time is a willful stupidity. It's a choice. It's not a stupidity for which there is any legitimate excuse. It's a choice. And to me, that makes the difference between evil and this degree of stupidity, intentional, voluntary, a chosen stupidity. It makes the difference between those two things meaningless in my view. Whether you consciously, affirmatively choose to support this evil, or whether you choose to be so ignorant and oblivious as to what it is that you are supporting, there's no difference to me between those things. Both are evil. Both are empowering evil. And a lot of people who have MAGA family and friends have been struggling with this for a long time. They love these people. They have been a part of their lives. Maybe they are brothers or sisters, or parents, grandparents, friends, spouses. And they just don't want to admit that these people are evil. And I understand that. You want to defend them. You want to convince yourselves that it's not evil. They've just been brainwashed. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're supporting. Maybe for a period of time, that argument may have carried some weight. There may have been some truth to that. But at this point, I'm sorry. You cannot excuse this. They are choosing evil. There is simply no way around that. You need to accept that. If you have someone in your... You may not want to believe this, but it's time that you accept it.
I know, and you know, I seen that. I felt that, man. I felt that to my core. I still couldn't post it though. So there was a little bit of denial still there, but I definitely felt that. It's getting rough out here.
Minnesota to round up the Somalis now and so expands what the Brennan Center calls the deportation. So Trump says he's going to Minnesota to round up the Somalis now, and so expands what the Brennan Center calls the deportation industrial complex. Did you ever wonder who's benefiting the most from all these ICE raids? Well, we all know that this corrupt administration is fueled by the profit motive, first and foremost, and that big ugly bill that they pushed through this summer gave them the keys to the kingdom. Now, keep in mind, this is not monopoly money. These are your tax dollars being spent to kidnap, detain, and terrorize people while throwing out due process, which is a constitutional right. Be prepared to be pissed. Now, the big ugly bill allocated $170 billion of your money to be used for immigration and border enforcement. And remember, Trump filed appeal after appeal to avoid having to pay SNAP benefits this fall because we supposedly couldn't afford it. Well, $75 billion of that big ugly bill money was earmarked specifically for ICE. And in addition to paying masked thugs massive signing bonuses and annual salaries to terrorize black and brown people, there are a lot of private companies that are experiencing a windfall by signing lucrative contracts with ICE. Now, we talked about the private detention companies Core Civic and Geo Group in a previous video, but they are far from the only private companies that have decided to cast their lot with ICE. Who else is on that list? I'm glad you asked. Up first is Palantir, Peter Thiel's company. They've got $88.1 million in ICE contracts. They're a surveillance company that's helping ICE to monitor people's locations in near real time. Next is Dell Federal Systems, and yes, they are a subsidiary of that Dell. They've got $20 million in ICE contracts. Thomson Reuters Special Services, owned by Thomson Reuters, who also owns Reuters News, has $19.7 million in IT contracts with ICE. And Charter Communications, AT&T, and Comcast all have contracts with ICE to provide IT services. Deloitte Counseling, owned by Deloitte & Touche, has a $132.4 million contract to provide everything from accounting services to PR to program management and evaluation. Ernst & Young has ICE contracts worth $10.3 million. And there are tons of other companies providing ICE with everything from tasers to IT support to video recording equipment to weapons. It really does take a village. If you're as disgusted by all of this as I am, firstly, share this video to help increase awareness of how the profit motive is driving this whole farce. Then go to the link in my bio or in the comments to sign the petition to get ICE off our streets. Over 10,000 of you have signed this petition already. The more signatures we get, the more likely that decision makers are to see it. We're talking about state and local officials, federal government officials, and the CEOs of several of these corporations that are financially profiting from these illegal raids. This horror is being waged in our name and with our money. We have a responsibility to do everything we can to stop it. Go to the link in my bio or in the comments to sign the petition to get ICE off our streets. Let's keep fighting.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, it's nasty, man. It's like a bad. I said the last part that I feel like I'm in a bad movie, like Titanic or something, but it's even worse than that. Not nightmares. We having daymares. We gotta figure out new words for some of this trauma that we as Americans are receiving. So I am skipping around because I didn't want to talk about how much money that ICE has been using. I mean, how much they profit from actually sicking ICE on Americans. But all right, so I am skipping around, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just go with it. I've been collecting clips of ICE harassing and arresting citizens for about a month now, and I have quite a few. So before we can even talk about Renee Good, and there are others that were killed by ICE, let's just let's just take a look at what I guess half or 55% of the country supposedly voted for.
I was born.
This is ICE arresting and harassing citizens. George Ritz is an American citizen who was born and raised in California. He is an Army veteran who was deployed to Iraq. In June, while on his way to work, ICE agents shattered his car window, pepper sprayed him, and took him to a detention center where he was held for 3 days. This is America.
My name is George Paredes. I was born and raised in Ventura, California. On July 10th, I was on my way to work, and when I arrived on the street that day, there was protesters. I encounter a line of ICE agents lined up across the road. I put my car in park. I'm a good distance away. I get out and I stand beside my car and I yell to the officers, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm just trying to get to work. I'm not here to protest. They just immediately got hostile, telling me to pull over to the side, telling me to get back into my car. As I'm getting into my car, the agents surround my car, pulling on the door handles, banging on the windows, telling me to get out. Following that, they throw tear gas behind my car. I'm just there, coughing, eyes watery, can't breathe. They reapproach my car, telling me to do different things, contradicting each other. I'm just trying to plead with them that I'm leaving.
I'm trying to leave.
My driver's side window just shatters. An agent sticks his arm through and pepper sprays me in the face. They drag me out of the car. They throw me on the ground. An agent kneels on my neck and another agent kneels on my back. And while that's happening, I'm telling them I can't breathe. They zip tied my hands behind my back. They asked me for my ID once. I let them know it's in my car. Had they just looked at my ID, they would have seen that I'm a U.S. citizen, that I'm a veteran. I managed to make a call for my watch, and I call my wife and just let her know that I was detained by ICE. It was going to be okay. I didn't do anything wrong, and that was the last anyone heard from me. They eventually put me in an unmarked car, and they drive me to a Navy base in Port Hueneme. They take my fingerprints, they take my picture, and they swab my cheek. They put real handcuffs on my wrists and my ankles. They drove me to the downtown Metropolitan Detention Center in downtown LA. They strip search us. They take our picture, our fingerprints. I asked for a lawyer, asked when I would be able to make a phone call. They never gave me an answer. That entire first night, my skin burning, my hands burning, my face burning. It's the worst pain possible. Hardly even slept. I talked to a psychiatric nurse, and based off the questions I had answered, she felt like it was best to put me on suicide watch. This yellow concrete room, I'm in there in those conditions from Friday morning until Sunday afternoon. An officer comes up to the cell and says, I'm off suicide watch and that I will be released. And that was it. He just walks away. No explanation, no apology. I asked. I was locked up in here for no reason. I missed my daughter's birthday for no reason. And it was just the loudest silence you could think of. My military training helped me remain calm in such a chaotic situation. The moment right now doesn't define the flag and everything it stands for. It represents America, represents all of us, and so I have no problem standing by it. It's important that we all stand up and share our voice and let it be known that what's happening right now isn't right.
Wow. Wow. Absolutely insane. So, Homeland Security actually attached this post. Stop fear-mongering. ICE does not arrest or deport U.S. citizens. If a U.S. citizen is arrested, it is because they have obstructed or assaulted law enforcement. That makes someone a target for immigration enforcement is if they are as if they are illegally in the U.S., not their skin color. And this is just that was on the Twitter post. This is patently for then someone also. Secretary Noem has been clear. Rioters will not stop us or slow us down. So then Senator Dick Durbin responded to that and said, this is patently false. The Trump norm, DHS is detaining American citizens, and they're doing it during violent, indiscriminate raids and using excessive force. There's a report saying we found more than 170 U.S. citizens that have been held by immigration agents. They've been kicked, dragged, and detained for days. Okay, so I basically was making a point earlier to say that pretty soon we're not going to be able to trust the information that we receive from the government. I mean, it's pretty much that now. The direct response of the shooting of Renee Good should be the very last straw of whether or not we can trust our government to tell us the truth. If they're shooting white women and lying about it after people see footage, trust me, going back is going to take a revolution.
Last weekend, ICE attempted to raid Canal Street and detain our immigrant neighbors. As mayor, I'll protect the rights of every single New Yorker, and that includes the more than 3 million immigrants who call this city their home. But we can all stand up to ICE if you know your rights. If you encounter ICE, these are the things that every New Yorker should know. First, ICE cannot enter into private spaces like your home, school, or a private area of your workplace without a judicial warrant signed by a judge. That looks like this. If ICE does not have a judicial warrant signed by a judge, you have the right to say, I do not consent to entry, and the right to keep your door closed. Sometimes ICE will show you paperwork that looks like this and tell you that they have the right to arrest you. That is false. ICE is legally allowed to lie to you, but you have the right to remain silent. If you're being detained, you may always ask, am I free to go, repeatedly until they answer you. You are legally allowed to film ICE as long as you do not interfere with an arrest. It is important to remain calm during any interaction with ICE or law enforcement. Do not impede their investigation, resist arrest, or run. One last thing. New Yorkers have a constitutional right to protest, and when I'm mayor, we will protect that right. New York will always welcome immigrants, and I will fight each and every day to protect, support, and celebrate our immigrant brothers and sisters.
Zoran Mondami, the New York mayor. I'm just gonna I gotta breeze through these. I'm gonna have to just breeze through these.
That video was disgusting. You know, as a son of immigrants whose parents were naturalized in this country, to see a video of ICE agents arresting and detaining American citizens and harassing them is totally unacceptable. And I was ashamed as a member of this government. I saw, Ms. Figueroa, your emotion and the trauma you still face. And I want to say it's not just the Trump administration who bears responsibility for this. Justice Brett Kavanaugh has betrayed the American people, and he has betrayed the Constitution of the United States. And for all his fancy Yale Law degree, what he's talking about is that you can arrest people and detain people, American citizens, because of the way they look and how they talk. And I will tell you this, you 5 citizens here have more of an understanding of our Constitution than Brett Kavanaugh ever will have. He should have never been put on the court, and he should be impeached today. But I will tell you, I've never felt more angry seeing what these agents are doing to American citizens. But there need to be consequences. There need to be consequences. It is illegal for an ICE agent to currently detain an American citizen, yet they've done it. We know they've put some of you in jail for 8 hours, and nothing has happened. So I'm going to ask all of you a very simple question. I believe it is time that we have automatic dismissal for any ICE agent who detains and arrests an American citizen, and that they should be subject to criminal prosecution if they are detaining and arresting an American citizen. Mr. Redis, what would you say to that?
I would say that you're 100% right. There definitely needs to be accountability and a recourse for not just me, but for everyone sitting here today, everyone who's still currently going through this. You're 100% correct. Without no recourse, without no accountability, it's what do we have? What rights do we have?
Ms. Figueroa?
I believe a Holocaust is among us if we don't stop it. So, yeah.
Mr. Chavaria?
Our nation stands for justice for all, and anybody who breaks the laws or violates the Constitution should be held accountable, regardless of what agency they work for.
Ms. Velas?
I agree. I think there needs to be justice and accountability.
Mr. Ramirez?
I also agree. I think it's long past time for Congress to create a remedy for violations of civil rights by federal officers.
I would just end, Ranking Member Garcia, that I believe we should look into some actual accountability for these ICE officers who are breaking the law and arresting American citizens. It's not enough just to condemn it. They need to face consequences for what's happening.
The law in America is becoming a joke. In the charade of Congress and D.C. even, Americans are losing faith in these cabinet meetings or I don't know what to call them, these hearings, these congressional hearings. I mean, we are seeing what's happening. They're not hiding any of this. They're doing it right in front of our face at this point. Most of the country, most Americans are struggling too much to even do anything about it. And then the Americans that are, they are being treated like they are terrorists, domestic terrorists. And then there are people who just respect white supremacy that act like everything is honky-dory.
What's your name? 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 You can't do that. What is your name? 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 What's your name? What's your name? No, let it go. It's like a U.S. citizen. No. You guys back it up. Back it up. Don't touch me, man. Don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Inside issue. Call 911. Call 911. Please check him out. Call 911. Hey, yo.
It don't even look like America no more. Just literally look like videos of a third world country. Where we have entered in this society, in this generation, in this new United States era of Trump, well, what we have entered is things that we have read about in history books, but modernized and replayed in front of our very eyes. And most of it is not even played on and covered by, what's the word I'm looking for? Just regular news sources. Most of it is being covered by independent news outlets. We have to depend on our timeline and algorithm and who we're following and what type of trend is flowing through our timeline.
And I never expected to be standing in front of all these cameras and microphones. But what happened to me cannot stay quiet. What happened to me was unjust, uncalled for. I was simply on my lunch break. I literally went downstairs from my building. I wasn't even outside for mere seconds before I seen a masked person running at me full speed. He tackled me, pushed me inside the restaurant, like as you can see in the video. I told him I'm a U.S. citizen, what is going on? He didn't seem to care. He dragged me outside through the snow while I was handcuffed, restrained, helpless, and he pushed me to the ground, and he put me in a chokehold. That was very uncalled for. I thought I got really hurt, and after that, they put me inside the vehicle. And they asked me, we have to verify if you're a U.S. citizen, because I believe you're an illegal citizen because you ran from me. But as you can see in the videos that will be released, I'm simply just standing still. I asked them, okay, they said, let me take a picture of you to scan your face to see if you're a U.S. citizen. I declined because how will a picture prove I'm a U.S. citizen? I told them I have my passport. It's in my phone. Can I open it and show you? He declined. I told him, can I give you my name and my date of birth? He declined because they turned off my phone. They turned off my location. They don't, you don't know where you're at. So I asked them, can you take me back to where you picked me up from? They said, no, you have to walk in the snow. They were being serious. I asked 3 times. They said, no, you're walking. But eventually my parents came and picked me up. And yeah, all I did was step outside as a Somali American, and I just got chased by a masked person. The agent then, at one point, he didn't identify himself. He didn't say, ICE, stop. I felt like I was getting assaulted. I was getting kidnapped, and that's exactly what it was. And the way they were treating me, it was inhumane. They dragged me across the road. They slammed me to the ground, choked me. That was uncalled for. There's also more videos of someone came out. They had a copy of my passport. And I told the agent, he has my passport copy. And he said, we don't care, we're still taking you in. And they kept me for 2 hours. And if this is what's happening to a U.S. American citizen on camera, imagine what could happen to your loved ones when there's no one around to witness what they're doing.
I apologize that this happened to you in my city with people wearing vests that say police. That's embarrassing. But what really gets me is that this is just one story today.
One story of so many now, right? So that would be the gentleman that we was just watching being dragged in the snow. Okay. All right. And again, that was Mo Basher, an American citizen who spoke. This was in December, actually. This was in December. So it literally has been brewing and getting worse. And while some of us have been, too busy, and we're all trying to survive. So a lot of us, living our life, and we are literally at war. The country is at war with itself. They have they have sent troops, military personnel, on its own citizens. So again, George Retz told his story, and it's just crazy to be to actually have went to war for this country and still be rounded up by ICE. That's just a spit in the face.
I identified myself as a U.S. citizen and a veteran, but that didn't matter. Agents smashed my window, sprayed tear gas and pepper spray into my car, dragged me out. I was choking on gas, unable to breathe, while officers shouted conflicting commands. Even after I complied, I was taken to a detention center and held for 3 days without charges. No phone call, no lawyer, no medical care, even though my skin burned from the chemicals. My family had no idea where I was. I was released without explanation and without a single charge. I identified myself as a U.S. citizen and a veteran.
Man, don't go. No folks don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really can't go back from the way that they actually are operating. Repairing this the damage that the current administration is doing to the country, it's just gonna be I ain't gonna say impossible, because I don't want to believe anything is impossible, but it's just a tall task
right now.
It ain't no other way of putting it. Has ICE forgotten about white people? Is this post? I love Kevin Blue's post. So I don't think it's ironic. I don't think it's by chance. I don't think it's a odd coincidence that we don't really see too much footage or reports of white immigrants being treated the way that we've seen brown and black immigrants treated. I mean, yeah, there are a few, maybe more than that, but we haven't really seen a lot of it. And this gentleman asked the question, has ICE forgotten about the white people? The Canadians, the Austrians, Belgians, Bulgaria, Croatia, Denmark, I don't even know how to say that name, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland immigrants, Italy, Italians, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romanian immigrants, Slovakians, Slovenians, Spaniards, the Swedish, Norwegians. We had a clip last week where the president practically said, why can't we get some good immigrants based off of a country? I mean, clearly racist comment that friends will still try to deny the fact that our president of this country is a white supremacist.
Let's talk about who ICE is not raiding right now. ICE and Border Patrol are in Charlotte, Durham, and Raleigh, North Carolina, literally 30 minutes from where I pastor. But here's what you're not seeing. We're not seeing raids on Irish pubs checking visas. We're not seeing sweeps through European neighborhoods. We're not seeing checkpoints outside of Polish churches. We're not seeing Canadian families being terrorized. We're also not seeing British immigrants being asked about their documentation status. I want to call this for what it actually is: racism. The Trump administration isn't at all interested in all immigrants. They're interested in brown and black immigrants, period. European immigrants overstay their visas at similar or higher rates than immigrants from Latin America. But let's be honest, when was the last time we saw ICE conducting military-style raids in predominantly white immigrant communities? When's the last time we heard about a German family being detained during a traffic stop? When's the last time Swedish immigrants were too afraid to take their children to school? We haven't heard or seen any of this because this was never about immigration. It was always about race. I'm a pastor, I'm a public servant. I'm telling you, we need to pay attention to who is being targeted and who is being ignored. Because when we learn that, it tells us everything we need to know about what's actually motivating these operations. This isn't about law enforcement. This is about racial profiling with federal badges. And every elected official, state level, local level, who supports this, they know exactly what they're supporting. You can dress it up all you want in border security language, but we see it for what it really is. I assure you, the voters are going to remember this in November of 2026. Y'all, this is not about protecting communities. This is about deciding which communities matter. I'm Pastor G. I'm not going to be quiet while this is happening and while our communities are at risk.
Appreciate that, Pastor G. Pastor James Galliard. And a lot of us are speaking as if we're just so sure that there are going to be elections in November. As the country seems to make a turn for war, some of us have still so have so much faith in the American democracy and democracy. I don't know why I ain't say that shit right. American democracy. Excuse me, democracy. That's crazy. We'll just get to the next clip. I know I ain't really had no setup for this particular video. Let me see. Let me set this one up for us. A Somali American woman in Minneapolis straps her U.S. passport to her head while going out about her day, ensuring instant proof of citizenship in the face of heightened ICE enforcement and racial profiling fears. Oh, I understand now. That's why she's wearing a passport on her head. She said she ain't playing no games. So again, while some folks may have shit to say, some of you black MAGAs may have, your opinions about immigrants and Somalians and maybe repeating talking points about Somalians. Again, when I see a Somalian, when I see Elon Omar, when I see Mubashir, I seen a black man. When I see this woman right here, I see a black woman with her passport on her head. See, the country that she's originally from, that's not what I initially identify. I look at this woman and I see a sister. She looks like she could be my sister. So right then and there, my heart feels differently to see bullshit that even if they are Somalian ethnicities, of Somalian descent, they are still Americans. And seeing my fellow Americans go through the bullshit, even if they weren't Americans, man, see humans be harassed in the way that they are. And the folks like to use they're illegals. illegal aliens. That's why they get us to use terminology like that. So we can start vilifying and dehumanizing people. And we get desensitized to harassment and violence. You know, we're Americans. We see this shit every day. Somebody gets killed and people are like, whoop-de-doo. People die every day, B. Like, somebody actually said that to me when I said 40 people was killed during the Venezuelan raid to kidnap a president and his wife. Whoop-de-doo, people die every day. But then these folks will be quick to fall back on their so-called religion, their Christianity. I can't speak with these headphones on. Christianity. I can't speak regardless. Let me just get back to the clip. So this beautiful Somalian American, Somali Snaps on TikTok, is wearing her passport on top of her head, and she ain't playing no games. But she ain't got time. Somali Snaps. Again, beautiful young woman. I see a black woman. So while they were saying that they were only going to harass, black people, stay out of this and all that shit that folks be trying to say online, that ain't working. And that ain't the case. I think we need to be more involved because we next.
This is actually a tweet by the Department of Homeland Security.
Now, I talked about this tweet, and they talked about this during the congressional hearing. And this is just all so funny. But this is the bullshit that we now have to expect from an American government and propaganda that they peddle.
This is actually a tweet by the Department of Homeland Security. And it says, "Stop fear-mongering. ICE does not arrest or deport U.S. citizens. If a U.S. citizen is arrested, it is because they have obstructed or assaulted law enforcement. ICE does not arrest or deport U.S. citizens." I just want to ask briefly each of the 5 U.S. citizens that are here, is this tweet a lie? Mr. Retes, is this tweet a lie?
100% it's a lie.
Ms. Figueroa, do you agree? Is this tweet a lie?
That's a damn lie, and they know it.
Mr. Chavarria, is this tweet a truth or a lie?
It's a lie.
Mr. Ramirez, is this tweet true or a lie?
It's a lie.
Ms. Velez? Thank you. Now, every U.S. citizen here agree that this tweet by Homeland Security is a lie. And Secretary Noem should be ashamed. She should resign. She should not be running any agency of the United States of America.
Appreciate that. The oversight Dems on TikTok. I hope those ain't real state officials or national officials. Get off TikTok. Get to work. Put some legislation in. Make some arrests. Do something, damn it. You're fucking losing a country. Lost the country. The hell? So, I told y'all I could do this till the cows come home. These are things that I've just been collecting and wanting to talk about for the whole month of December. And 2026 just kicked off, like it did. So it made it hard to move on without talking about how we got here and the many things that people may have overlooked or may have forgotten about, because there's just so much that you have to take in, so much trauma, so much bullshit, so much propaganda so many different experiences, so many different stories that we have to take in as Americans, and then you have to decipher what's real, what's not, what you should consume, what you shouldn't. You know, what you should censor, who should be censored, who should be filtered out. And if y'all been rocking with me for, I think we've been going an hour now, I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it for you not filtering Doja out, because I know, I'm not the greatest orator in the world. I'm just learning like y'all, man, and experiencing and being informative, experiencing this traumatic actions that this country is enacting on its citizens, and just here to report on it, man. Let y'all know what's going on, trying to inform my people. Let's keep it going.
Retaliation to this sign.
So, there's been businesses that have denied, there are citizens that are not happy with what ICE is doing. There are communities and businesses that are suffering because of these immigration raids, whether or not they have immigrant customers. Either, the customer base is based off of immigrants and both legal and non. And some folks are just scared to conduct business if people are going to be harassed just to patronize them. So it's getting tough. It's affecting the economy in a lot of different ways. While some folks, we damn near got a whole nother segment to talk about, are actually getting rich by what ICE is doing. We just still talking about the citizens and the local economies that are being affected.
Retaliation to this sign. They're denying him property rights, business owner rights. They're disrupting his business. They're refusing to leave. They asked him to get off the property. They refused. And now more just keep showing up. They're surrounding everybody. And MPD even went into this business to try to get them to deny us access to their parking lot,
As a business proprietor, I just came up here and asked y'all to move y'all van when y'all were 4 deep. And now it's 50 of you motherfuckers out here. So what's the problem? This is intimidation. This right here is what you call having me afraid for my life. I'm scared for my life. There's a lot of weapons out here, guns and stuff. Why are y'all doing this to me? Why are y'all doing this to me? I'm just a business owner, man. I'm a citizen. Why are y'all doing this to me? Can I get an answer, anybody? Anybody? Can the citizen get an answer? Can the person who's supposed to be getting protected and all that get an answer? Can I get an answer? I can't do that. That's fucked up, man. It's funny,
because they know what they're doing is fucked up.
Yep.
She's proud of you, too.
This is America, where the National Guard can go on any private property they want, and the police ain't gonna do shit. They're supposed to protect the Constitution. They're violating it. Goddamn shame. Goddamn shame. We're under 25 people. It's not an illegal assembly. Just a heads up, y'all. They're putting on gloves like they about to do some shit.
The National Guard calls out people with all the weapons.
Put your gloves on. We are lawfully protesting against this government overreach. So I'm going to suggest that y'all don't try to impede on our rights.
How'd that work out? This is America. They're sending National Guard troops, MPD, ICE, FBI, DEA. See, that's a goddamn ICE agent. Or ICE. We got U.S. Marshals, National Guard. So once again, I have no doubt that this is in part all these troops.
HSI, you leave your white hood at home?
He said, HSI, you leave your white hood at home? Partially in retaliation to this sign.
So, a business owner put up a sign that he didn't want no ICE access in his business. And so the mob, the gang, the National Gang, aka National Guard, posted up around his business and the businesses surrounding him, stopping people from patronizing his business, stopping his money, in retaliation for making a choice, for exercising a freedom. And we have this innate reaction to bring up the Constitution. Like, the Constitution is this force field that's going to stop the harassment and the oppression. Oh, if you say the Constitution, they're just going to stop in their tracks. It's like inviting the or not inviting the vampire in. If you don't invite, if you say the Constitution, then they're gonna stop in their tracks and they ain't gonna be able to do nothing to you. All you gotta do is say, is you're impeding on my constitutional rights. And they'd be like, they'll stop. So like we spoke about, there are actual companies that profit from the fact that ICE is operating and doing what they do. Man, I got so many clips, y'all. I'm sorry. Oh man. So this is just a quick history clip. It says police were given immunity for random violence, including killings of minorities and political opponents. Many were promoted. They had license from the top. And for the first time in Europe, the police were the violent criminals. This is the police that they were talking about in that clip. In that tweet. And this is 1933. And these are police officers in Germany. And this is what many are seeing when they look at our authoritarian guard. They damn sure ain't no damn police. All right, so how we get into this, man? How we get into this? This one say job loss. No. I do want to talk about the fact that there's been a lot of job loss. But that's for another segment. Okay, yeah, this is a good one.
A big part of why these raids are happening is very sinister. I go into these detention centers. There's all sorts of people in there.
right? There's farm workers, there's day laborers, there's people who've been here for 20 years who have, multiple U.S. citizen kids. The way that these people in these detention centers keep in touch with their kids is they make phone calls. And these phone calls, they get charged $5 per phone call. And the way they make money in these detention centers is they work. And for a full day of work, they get paid $1. And so the people in there, right, the fathers who want to talk to their kids, they work a full week to make one phone call with their kids.
I mean, that's slavery. I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
It absolutely is.
I'm a regular person. I can say whatever I want. That's slavery.
All of these detention centers.
No, wait. Hold on. I got to run that part back. You say I'm a regular person? No, you are a white lady. And that's what you meant by I'm a regular person. I can say whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if that's the case anymore, white lady. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you are a woman, they finna take women's rights next. They're shooting white women now. So, but this woman here, because of the protection of the
make
complexion.
One phone call with their kids.
I mean, that's slavery. I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
It absolutely is.
I'm a regular person.
I'm a regular person. I'm a white person, so I can say this.
I can say whatever I want.
Whatever I want. Not even I can say this. I can say whatever I want.
To say that.
It absolutely is.
I'm a regular person. I can say whatever I want. That's slavery.
All of these detention centers are run by private for-profit prison companies, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars for every single person who's in there. That's why they're not just going after criminals or people with criminal convictions. They're just finding anybody with brown skin.
Right.
Because they're looking for bodies to put into these prisons so they can keep on stealing from taxpayers.
That's crazy.
These for-profit prison companies donate almost an equal amount between Republicans and Democrats.
Right, yeah.
And that explains so much about why Trump is back. Because you have on the Republican side a party that is attacking immigrants and saying immigrants are the cause of all of the problems in this country. And Democrats are trying to fight back and say, hey, actually, immigrants are not so bad.
Barely fighting back.
Bad. But they're fighting with one arm, saying immigrants are not so bad, and their other arm is tied behind their back by all these for-profit prison companies that they're taking checks from.
Oh.
I think that's something that needs to change about not just California, but politics in general, which is this money in politics that causes our politicians to serve the interests of these corporations and these special interests rather than regular people. And that's why our campaign is only taking donations from regular people. I think that's the right way to do politics because it allows us to speak with honesty and with authenticity. And what California needs to do is to shut these for-profit detention centers down.
The Mary Houlihan Show. Mary said, I'm a regular person. And I can say whatever I want. Oh, man. I don't know about that anymore, Mary. That might have been true once upon a time, but you can no longer say what you want, Mary. All right, so we've been talking for over an hour now, and I hope that you guys enjoyed today's this segment of the show. We still have not gotten to the meat and potatoes of ICE, these ICE raids, these ICE murders that we have to cover. But again, these are the companies that work with ICE, or just a few of them. AT&T, Dell, CharterCom, Comcast, Ecolab, UPS, LabCorp, Palantir, Motorola, FedEx, General Dynamics, CoreCivic, Casey, Amazon, L3 Harris, Geo Group, Thermo Fisher, Lexmark. There are more. There are more. So I mean, and it's crazy because it's like sometimes you can't really even. I talked about that with the DEI situation with AT&T. It's like some of these companies, you know, even if you wanted to not support them, the company you're going to support right up under them is still connected to them. So, you know, you can't really even get away from supporting some of the bullshit out here, man. Can't even avoid it. All right, so we're going to take a break, man. It's just so much to talk about. We have to get to the Renee Good to honor those that were killed by ICE. And it was just more than Renee. So, trigger warning for this entire episode. I'd like to thank everybody for their support. Shout out to our sponsors. It's Not a Game Apparel. Yeah, so y'all go check out It's Not a Game in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. Shout out to my boy Pud. Shout out to Royal Blunts. My boy Breaker over there at Royal Blunts. Appreciate the gifts. And shout out to all those that have made it through the entire show. If you made it through this entire show, man, hit me up and say that you said that if I made it through the entire show, the code word is Shoshana. The person that hit me up and say Shoshana, the first person that hits me up on DM or any kind of way, I got you a gift. I got something special for you because you made it through the entire show. Other than that, man, I'd like to thank everybody, man. And I'll see y'all next time. It's the DozhaToldya Podcast. 100 and 69. We'll be right back, man. We're just taking a quick little break anyway. We ain't really going nowhere. So we'll be right back.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Dame Doja. If you're looking to get your interview done or be a guest host on our podcast, hit us up at DozhaToldya.COM. Bump what you heard. Remember who told you? It's Dozha Told You.